quick, I always want the show to be the comedy is the premise, and then that's just the narration. But after that, I want to try as hard as we can to make a real history story. And a lot of times, Jeremy and I will tell Dan and his boys, like, you know, we want this to feel like blah, blah, blah movie, or, you know, and they're so good at making it feel like it's a real movie. It's a real story.
When we make it, as much as it's such a ridiculous premise and it's really, really funny and there's drunk people, our job really is to kind of play a role of a composer who's taking this job really seriously. Like if we have to do something that sounds like Morricone, I'm not trying to make a funny Morricone. I'm trying to like act like Ennio Morricone and make decisions that he would make, because if you have funny music and you have funny people, it's almost kind of like a double negative. I mean, it just kind of cancels itself out in a way. And but the people are way funnier when they are speaking to more serious music.
So the main goal is to find stories that make us go, why weren't we taught that in school? Or, wait, that's not the version we heard in school. And then we try to find as many sources to back up this proof. Because we really want to find cool stories, and that's what makes the show so fun, is that they're all real, and that we really do believe in these stories that should be told. So I always have this dream of like some dumb frat guy being like, that guy's so f***ed up, what an idiot. Oh, just learned something. Like, my goal is to make the audience think they're smarter and then realize, no, I'm not.
There are a couple of episodes about music, and there are actually a couple of times where people sing something in the episode like this, mouth trumpet. There's another one in the
that
Sugar Hill Gang episode.
Sugar Delight, yeah.
Sugar Delight, if you want to play that one. But we usually try and incorporate the rhythms that they're using in the episode. There's even one Water Vodka song where Derek is getting really drunk, and he just like sung this little melody, and I was like, let's take that melody and like use it to develop something. This is the Water Vodka song.
I love this.
We don't have to singing it.
I'll be the first one to rip on anyone that like I think needs to be ripped on. So I mean this in the most sincere way. We even had one thing questioned. Like, we've really been trusted, and I do think it's because A, they're cool, and B, we established what we wanted to do before we got in there, which is a thing I always tell people, like, know exactly what you want to do, because if you don't, they're going to change it. And so we've been lucky with that, but I think the show has evolved in a way that we've kind of found what our goal is finding unknown stories, and that really wasn't the goal at the top. It was just, it'd be funny to have someone drunk telling a history story and we reenact it. Maybe it's assassination of Lincoln, we all know that story, but this one's going to be a little different. But now we're like, we want to tell stories that people know. We want to find stories that are like, oh, I just learned something. And I laughed, hopefully.
But we go in knowing a beginning, middle, and end to the story that we want.
Yes.
And that's really important, because that first year, we really just let people, talk about Teddy Roosevelt for 6 hours. And getting into the edit with that just is impossible. So we really had to figure out, okay, what is the exact beginning, middle, and end? What is the arc? Who's the good guy? Who's the bad guy? And obviously we can stray from that, but we need to know that going in.
Yeah, I remember when I was on the set, Johnny Knoxville was playing Johnny Cash, and as much as you watch the show and you're like, oh, it's just a big fun thing, he was looking up photos of Johnny Cash, how he held his guitar, he was playing the audio recording over and over and over again, and he was taking it really seriously.
He was having email exchanges as we were shooting with the Carter Cash family. That was very strange.
Yeah.
And he was wearing Johnny Cash's real boots that he wanted at auction. He took it more seriously, I think, than anyone.
That's just the only